bar none, that was the weirdest fucking pay-per-view I've seen in a long, long time.
You're telling me.
Just... This... I can't decide if I like this pay-per-view or if I hate this... Well, I don't hate this. I know for a fact that I don't hate this pay-per-view. But I can't decide why I like this pay-per-view.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there were legit good matches. There was legit bizarre matches. But it kind of coalesced into this, like, roller coaster of what in the world am I watching and why don't we watch more of this?
Everything you wanted the House of Horrors match to be, basically.
Just kind of prolonged over, what was it, 2.5 hours, I want to say? Maybe a little longer. But yeah, this is... I like, there were times during this pay-per-view where I was legit feeling like, am I having an out-of-body experience?
You had one of those, like, I can't tell if he's freaking out or actually laughing hysterically moments.
Yeah, we'll get to that particular moment later on during the discussion, but for right now, my summary for tonight was just, huh? What? Okay.
What? Yeah.
Yeah, like, it was very much an Austin, what?
Yes, tonight you're like, what? You're like, no, really?
No, what? I'm not trying to be a smart here. What? Speaking of smart, should we get to tonight's gift exchange?
Yeah.
So you want to go first?
That's the tradition.
All right. Oh, you spared no expense on the packaging.
Yes.
So open this up here, and we got what is a luchador bottle opener. I got like half a dozen bottle openers already, but
not as good as this though.
Holy, this is. Wow, this is... Okay, let's get a little closer of this guy right here. First of all, he's neon orange. So,
you don't want to, lose him in your drawer.
No, of course not. And he looks like he's wearing a full body onesie with no face cut out either. So I'm wondering how this guy breathes. He kind of reminds me, he's like that when you remember when you had to wear that green screen suit?
I remember.
The green screen suit for
sucked.
For the Sins of the Sisters episode. Oh god, that was... Yeah, you were a trooper for that shoot, but I think you also had a little fun.
The zipper got caught in my hair.
Oh.
Yeah, and I actually had to like cut some hair in order to get it out.
Oh.
Really sucked.
Yeah. That's why I have short hair now. But yeah, this is inventive at the very least, but like, how do you even like? It feels weird to grab him by the body to get the.
Well, you see, he's putting your bottle between his strong luchador legs.
He's like in a head scissors, basically.
And he's getting a triangle choke to the bottle to pop the cap off.
Yeah, which is weird because I don't believe luchador is all really about like rest holds and leg holds.
No, you see, the thing is, there are actually 3 different positions to choose from. One of them was this one. The other was a headlock, where he headlocks the bottle.
Well, I would rather use his legs to wrench open a bottle than his body. It's just...
Well, that's why
I
figured that's the most practical one. If I was an asshole, I would have gotten the suplex. Which is where you have to hold him from the back and kind of awkwardly have him hump the bottle to get the cap off.
I'm actually kind of ashamed that you didn't get me that.
This one, I like the idea of putting a bottle between his nice,
nice little swirl. Here, have this bottle of Heineken that I kept between my crotch.
Yeah, pop the cap off and that yellow beer comes out.
Ladies, don't you always wanted a man who could pop open a bottle with his groin? Yeah, you definitely want that in you. Oh, Christ. I give you points for it. I would. You were right. You told me on the card right over here that I would never predict in a million years what you would give me. I would have never...
bottle opener.
I would never have predicted this, so congratulations, good sir. For you, I present to you one of the weirdest wrestling piece of merch that I've seen in a while. And it's weird for a reason, and I'll get into it when you open it. Maybe we should have gotten a pair of scissors. No.
This is wrestling. Oh, well, I didn't even have to try to open it.
No,
there we go.
Yeah.
I have to carefully open it so that I don't turn it around and reveal your home address and everything. Okay.
Yeah.
It's another shirt?
Yeah, of course it's a shirt.
Wait a minute. I recognize that print. I recognize that print. Uh-oh.
Wait for it though. It's the.
What? No! No! No!
Yeah, look at that.
Ah, here's the front. Cup of haters. Cup of haters.
It's the fact that they took something and made it actual literal is what I find the lamest about this shirt.
All right, and here's the back.
What do we got here?
Well, what do we got here?
Cup of haters. Don't you love that the mug on the front, like the handle on the front, on the mug on the front of the shirt, looks like the worst handle you could ever have for a mug. There's no room for your finger at all.
It's just a G. There is no room for your fingers. You have to hold it like a clasp.
Oh, you gotta pinch
or get yourself in like a pretzel.
You gotta Mr. Krabs it.
Oh. And what size is it? It
medium.
Feels like okay. That's good.
It's a medium, so put it on. You're not wearing a wrestling shirt, so might as well put it on right now.
Yeah, right. I don't have to wear it twice. I have to wear it the next one.
Oh god! But like I said, that is one of the worst wrestling shirts they've. That is one of the worst wrestling shirts I've seen them put out in quite a while.
It's not the worst shirt you've given me. It's not Kevin Nash.
It's
already not as lame.
I gotta use Kevin Nash in precision strikes now. Now that I've built up this weakness for you, I gotta launch it when you least expect it.
Yeah.
But that shirt, when I saw it, I just knew right away that was a gift gift waiting for you. Don't you just love it? It's a cup of haters. Cup of haters.
I don't get it. I don't get it. I'm sorry. The joke is lost on me. Just gonna have to keep explaining it.
And I will every single chance I get.
So, I don't really think Enzo is, I don't dislike him at this point.
Really?
I don't dislike him at this point.
You don't dislike him, you're just tired of him, I'm guessing?
I'm a little tired of, mostly I'm tired of the match formula, of him always going in there and kind of, Sami Zayn, flailing of trying to, just not as good as Sami Zayn.
And trying his best to get tag in Big Cass. So
it's just a constant when's the little guy gonna bring in the giant? It's like, then the giant's gonna do his 5 moves and win. It's 5 the formula.
It's 5 lane moves.
Yeah.
Seriously though, that Empire Elbow. No. I would dare say that I am more tired of Enzo than I am of Cass. Even though Cass is probably as far as the showman is concerned, he's probably the weaker of the two.
Well, Cass has got a good look.
He's
huge. He looks like Tarzan,
Yeah, but he can't really wrestle. He doesn't have a very diverse moveset. Wrestles like a big man, but he doesn't wrestle like a good big man, if that makes any sense. And his work rate is passable, but say what you will about Enzo's ability to oversell and be this flailing octopus in a tumble dryer.
Yeah.
Say what you will about that. At the very least, there's effort to it, I suppose. And Cass doesn't really know how to sell very well.
It's also that Enzo's joke book, I think, has gotten basically depleted.
Well, yeah, because he has been doing all the 75 to 80% of the talking every time Enzo and Cass are on screen. So.
Yeah, I do. But it's also that Baron Corbin has officially overlapped Cass in the move repertoire department. I think he does twice the amount of moves as Cass now. Never thought I'd say that.
Never thought I'd say that either. But the thing is that Corbin is a singles. He's a singles competitor, so he doesn't have anybody else to rely on.
He has more opportunity to get more. He has more time to get moves out.
More time, and But if they're going to continue to have the same match over and over again, then it's going to get stagnant more sooner rather than later. I would argue that it's gone past stagnant.
There's very little variety, very little creativity to Enzo Cass matches, and that's what does it in for me in the end.
But regardless of how you feel about their in-ring capabilities or even their skills on the mic, that shirt with that ugly ass mug and that everything about that shirt is just ugly and unfunny, and just I would and just like this perfect amount of ironic detachment that you could wear that shirt, look lame, but people who can jive to your groove could know like, he's just being ironic. That's like that's the perfect shirt for that, I think.
Cup of haters.
Cup of haters.
At least it's not like a Cup of Hooters shirt.
I'm not even sure that was I'm not even sure if that's even a thing.
Apparently, I doubt he ever actually did. But his character background is that he ran a Hooters. So then, I think it was Jables or someone made the. No, it wasn't Jables. Somebody made the joke of Cup of Hooters.
Cup of Hooters.
Mm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But regardless, let's get to the pre-show, which for the first time seemingly in a long time, we've actually had a legitimate, entertainingly bad pre-show, courtesy of the one and only Booker T. And he begins on a strong note by burying Roman Reigns by mentioning how the smarky crowd in Chicago are going to let you know if they don't like you, like Roman Reigns, which was his first example.
And you can immediately see the look in his face as the earbuds go off.
Like he's immediately backtracking. I was like, don't talk about how much the crowd hates Roman Reigns.
It's like, I got something here. Go ahead and fix something.
Like, who are they going to replace Booker T with at this point? The commentary shuffle is so chaotic at this point that either Booker is going to be either you're going to replace Booker T with an actual stuffed animal, or you're just going to let Booker T continue to run his mouth off.
Yeah.
It's pure chaos at this point. But for people like you and me, seeing him just kind of eke out the truth little by little through like a series of jumbled up madness, it's really worth watching the pre-show for. Just those little instantaneous moments of truth.
Nobody could stay angry at Booker T for long.
No, not
he can't help what he says.
He's taken way too many chair shots over the head over his course of WCW and early not Attitude Era. He wasn't there for the Attitude Era. He was there for
not quite.
Ruthless Aggression.
The very, very beginning of Ruthless Aggression, yeah.
Yeah, I keep forgetting when he retired. I think it was like 2007, I want to say.
Well, not at the time when I was watching, I don't think.
Yeah, 2007 or 8. Entire. But also in the pre-show, they had a little video package trying to promote the artist known as Nakamura with the... Okay, so they have this promotional image of him doing like a roundhouse kick, and they caught him...
that one, the groin.
Yeah, the groin. And he has like this look on his face like of utter pain, like I just pulled the groin! Like, face. And he kind of looks like Stewart trying to keep away the babysitter mid-strike. Don't! And the whole video package revolves around an artist with her easel and palette painting that particular frame. And it is... One, it doesn't look like Shinsuke Nakamura. It looks like Frankenstein's monster.
It's expressionist, Ben.
Well, it's an expression of utter like bewilderment. Maybe.
Let me put it this way: gray palette paint never really comes off that good. It's hard to make gray paint work.
Gray. So
when like half of your painting is using gray as a palette, that's it's difficult.
And they don't pull it off. It is that portrait that if somebody if a fan gave that portrait to Shinsuke Nakamura, it would take everything in Nakamura's moral fiber to not just immediately stomp right through it.
It wasn't that bad.
It was pretty bad. Don't try to sugarcoat this. This was a bad portrait. I mean, granted,
they could have done better for a promo.
Granted, the pose that they used for the pose that they used for the portrait was a terrible one. So even if they were able to get it pitch perfect, it was still going to be a portrait of Nakamura looking like he just pulled a groin violently. But because of the weird perspective and the fact of the gray tones, it just there's almost like no definition in his face. No, like it was really hard to tell proportion and. Like I said, he looks like Frankenstein's monster. So that was sort of a kind of a little inkling of the kind of night that we were both in. But some last things here, some last things I wanted to bring up here is Ellsworth, the Ellsworth little spot where he's talking with the panel, and he just kind of casually drops that he's friend zoned.
Oh yeah. Well, let's see. Who asked him that? It was.
I think it was Booker T. It was Booker T who was trying to ask him.
Oh, that was awkward.
Yeah, that was awkward. Like
Booker T keeps trying to get the scoop on what's going on with him and Carmella, and it's like, so you and Carmella, you're like, are you a thing? And it's like, well, we're both in the together around and doing things. And it's like, no. I mean like, are you both
pounding it? Did you hit it like, 5 times? 5 times! 5 times! Did you hit it? Even in the...
Booker T, like a dog with a bone, just cannot let anybody else move to anything else until he has gotten his answer. And so he eventually is like, yeah, I'm friend zone.
Yeah, so I think Ellsworth mentioned the friend zone before that bit, but it was still within that same realm of like, what is the exact nature of Ellsworth as Carmella's valet that I... Well, actually, valet is technically a valet.
By for effectively, he's the manager of, the welcoming committee.
Well, I suppose
he's their mouthpiece, basically.
Mouthpiece.
Because they don't have intergendered matches. So.
No, of course not. But all right, I know for a fact that when a wrestler has a woman by his side, they're known as a valet, which is wrong. They're valet. A valet parks your car. A valet is a gentleman's gentleman.
Okay.
Watch your archer. So, I don't know why they're called a valet when if there were a man, it would just be your manager or your mouthpiece. Mm-hmm. But I guess because they're trying to play with the whole Carmella and like the reverse roles.
Yeah.
It would be that Ellsworth is.
Well, he's a pump man. That's what he is.
Yeah, hype man. So. I would try to continue with the gimmick. I would call him a valet. Using the proper terminology.
Whatever.
I would call him a valet, even though he serves
I'm sure he serves as a valet as well, though.
Oh, yeah. Like if they have a promo in which he's parking Carmella's car, then yes, he's her valet, but...
When they put out the carpet for, the Maharaja, he does a similar thing with cheetah print for...
Actually, that needs to be the part of Carmella's next feud. If she needs to come out and
yes,
she needs to Sasha Banks it, where she comes out of like an SUV on like leopard print carpet.
She needs to do what Sasha Banks should do, instead of just like I'm in a black car,
an Escalade.
That's it. I'm in a black car. That's original.
Mm-hmm.
No one's done that.
Not certainly.
She needs to be way more tacky than that. But Carmella can. She can, pick up the slack.
Yeah, but that was a kind of an I wouldn't say interesting, but it was a little nugget of entertainment there. But
then there was Eric Rowan.
Eric Rowan, who just kind of wanders into frame, basically pulling an Elias Sampson and just being where he ought not.
Except Elias Sampson, it's very simple. He's strumming a guitar and
it just interrupts what's happening and then gets out of dodge.
Yeah, but with Eric Rowan, it's just awkward.
I know, which actually makes it more hilarious to me. Because...
It was hilarious because of how bad it was.
Well, yeah, it is bad. No, I'm not trying to defend it or anything, but...
It was like a bad improv sketch.
Exactly. To me, like, the humor comes from the fact that it is so bad.
Everybody's trying to act like they're spooked out by him when he's wearing, like...
To be fair to them, I would be spooked out if some random 6'8" guy with a big old beard.
Fair enough, but they know who he is.
Well,
okay.
Like I said, this pay-per-view fills you with a bunch of feelings.
The masks they're not that scary.
They're not scary.
They're really not.
They aren't scary at all.
And then he takes the mask off.
And then puts it back on.
And starts twiddling with it. Okay, who is the bald guy? I don't remember his
Eric
name.
Rowan.
No, the announcer.
Oh, the other.
He's a newer guy. I don't.
Yeah, like he has I forgot his name as well.
Okay, but he takes his kerchief or something in his pocket and starts tying it around the tuft of hair on the sheet mask, and he's like, no,
No.
Actually, no, I don't like it. And the move goes away, fucks off. And everybody's just Booker T though. That was a good transition. I transitioned just like it. Booker T though.
Booker T trying to make something out of this dead fish of a spot on the pre-show just keeps going. You looking jacked, bro.
He says it 4 to 5 times.
5 times. 5 times. I already said
Holy crap! My God. You looking jack. You looking jack, bro.
You looking
hey,
jack,
friend. You looking good. You looking jack, bro. And I thought that they did that thing where they edit it for they go back 3 seconds so that they can fix it later, as they do so constantly throughout these pay-per-views. But no, I was like, oh, they edited it again. That's why I'm hearing him twice. And then he does it 3 more times.
It's like, no.
That's not editing.
No,
that's just Booker T.
That's just Booker T's internal needle skipping.
Oh, that was a bad bit.
No, that was a bad bit, but that was, you know what, considering what the rest of the night had in store for us, not out of place. So I'm considering what this pay-per-view did and what it presented, I can be like, I find it part of its charm rather than just sort of like how like in a particular match down the card that we will get to opened with a bit that we already saw on SmackDown. I find it within that same kind of realm.
Yeah.
But yeah, holy crap, that was some awful television. That was some awful television.
Nobody knew what the fuck to say during the whole thing.
Mm-hmm. But we get to the first match on the card. It's the pre-show with Aiden English and Ty Dillinger, and Aiden English with the best heel promo of the year.
Well, did you see his old stuff in NXT where he was the artiste?
I saw some of it.
It's kind of funny. They're going back to his artiste gimmick, but Shinsuke is known as the artist now. So what is Aiden English? The artiste. The other artist. The artiste versus the artist. Okay.
Yeah, it's just that extra little flourish makes it a bit more pretentious, which is what Aiden English presents himself to be. Now, I'm going to go on the record. I think I talked about this a little bit before, I think during the Royal Rumble discussion, was that I really and sincerely do not get the appeal of Ty Dillinger. I just don't.
Fair point.
He's not bad in the ring and he's not bad on the mic, but the response that he gets from everyone with the whole 10, 10, 10 is beyond my comprehension. It's not like this is like so involving and so engrossing that you have to be a part of it. It's, you're playing peekaboo. And like his whole, twirling around the canvas to go like the world's lamest magic trick. You
don't like the whole...
No, I don't.
Would it be better if he went like, and then started going...
You know what? At least that would be more clear-cut. That was supposed to be clear-cut humor, rather than this, like, I don't know what I'm doing. Maybe this is cool, maybe this isn't. I have no idea what I'm doing, but you're all doing it with me.
Well, I don't know why. I don't know. I don't see what your problem is. Do you also have a problem with the Warlock collar? The Warlock collar?
Oh, the fucking collar that looks like his head's about to take off at any moment?
The Dread Mist,
Oh yeah, that tier 1 Warlock collar helmet thing.
Tier 0.5. I hate myself.
Making WoW jokes in 2017. Not like we're talking vanilla WoW. We're talking 13 years old at this point. Teenagers watching this review have no idea what we're talking about.
But that collar, man.
Both collars, both in WoW and here, are like this half jacket that looks like... Honestly, it looks like The Miz should be wearing that.
Yeah, definitely Miz wear.
Yeah,
and it's got the kind of Jericho lights now in the embroidered into it or whatever.
That little spangly bits. But I was firmly in Aiden English's corner throughout this entire fight.
Or is it the zigzags in his hair?
Well, that too.
The little shaded patterns.
Well, that, like, the hair doesn't bother me so much. Even really the clothes don't bother me because that can be changed. Wardrobe changes from day to day. I mean, the collar, the silly looking collar notwithstanding. The whole point about Aiden English to me, where I don't get this disconnect, is the audience reaction from it. Like, to me, he's mid-card for life.
Oh, you mean about Ty?
Yeah, like about Ty Dillinger. Yeah. Like, for me, he's mid-card for life. At best. Like,
and the fact that he's a perfect 10 gimmick, but he actually has lost many of his matches.
Yeah, well, that, like, look, if I'm going to get my hair in a tizzy about every single wrestler who I think is really good but keeps losing in the matches, I might as well just...
Yeah, but his gimmick is that he's the perfect 10. That's his thing. That's his calling card, is literally a 10.
Literally the perfect 10. Like, look, again, like, every wrestler's gimmick sometimes revolves around talking about how great he is and then him fail. So, like, getting angry about that is like getting angry at the concept of wrestling itself.
Well, so it's an ironic 10?
Not even like an ironic 10.
Like, everybody who does it is like, he's a 10.
Look, yeah, he's so great. Like, they're trying to make quotation marks with all 10 fingers.
He's a 10. I think they just look like, what is it?
Yeah, like a
Catser or something, or...
like, we're trying to play kitty, you know, like, trying to knead some invisible dough. But, again, going back to Dillinger, like, my disconnect with Dillinger is that everything in the ring and everything I've heard from him on the mic, just, it does not warrant the reaction that he gets from the audience, even during his NXT days.
Well, I hate to agree, but I do.
It's like,
I don't dislike him as much as, or... Like, I don't jive as bad with him as you do, but...
Yeah, like...
But I totally see what you're saying.
Like, he makes it work, but it should not work this well.
Yeah.
Like I said, mid-card for life, especially with that gimmick.
What happened in NXT was, you know, they really did the underdog thing with him, and that usually does a pretty good job.
Yeah.
So, it won them over.
It won them over.
Promos won them over.
It won them over, but you know, even his underdog story, it's so vanilla.
It is.
So, like...
and the Sanity bit, the feud with Sandy is really crap. It just really drew on too long, and it never made sense to begin with. Why did Sanity want him in their team? Well, why did they choose him? And why did they keep wanting him?
It's like, well, we got a feud with somebody. That's why they're moving on to Roderick Strong. Or at least Eric Young is. But I want to talk a little bit about Aiden English, though. Like, this is, like...
Yeah, sure.
In a small package, this is why I liked the Vaudevillains, first and foremost. I mean, besides, you know, the sad departure of Simon Gotch.
I miss you, Simon.
We miss you, Simon. You know, it's... But besides the sad departure of it, I also liked Aiden English because he reminded me quite a bit, like him and Gotch reminded me quite a bit of what wrestling used to be. And I'm not talking about like 90s wrestling. I'm not talking about 70s wrestling. I'm not even talking about 50s wrestling. We're talking about Circus Strongman.
It reminds you because you were there.
Yeah. I was definitely there. I am an immortal. I am an ageless being. Thank you for outing me on that.
Yes.
But like everyone knows what wrestling is, but not a lot of people know where it actually began with Circus Strongman being acts. And it was a carnival act. And seeing them kind of bring that history of wrestling to the forefront, I thought was very interesting.
It was very enjoyable.
Even Simon Gotch's name is a play on important figures in wrestling history, like Gotch.
Yeah.
That's where he got the name Gotch from like a 1910 strongman from Carnival Strongman. So... so like seeing him, you know, unfortunately having to break up the Vaudevillains, but having in the meantime having this singles push where he's going back to his artiste gimmick and being, you know, still having that old timey attitude, What is this, oh brother, where art thou? but still having that old timey atmosphere and feel to it was, you know, I was never going to get a Vaudevillains push, not after what happened to Payback last year. And that poor... I still feel bad for Enzo after that really, really bad where he basically clotheslined himself and knocked himself the fuck
apron bit?
Yeah. Where he got knocked the fuck out. Yeah. But besides...
That was scary.
Knowing that there was never going to be another push for the Vaudevillains like that, even if they stuck around, this is like a fresh new beginning for me. And seeing Aiden English not only come out cutting a great heel promo, everyone booed him. He was from Chicago.
He was the hometown...
he was the hometown heel. He was the hometown heel. Yeah. And by God, everyone was on board to boo him. He got a great heel reaction. Yeah. He annoyed the crap out of everyone. This is pitch perfect heeldom. Pitch perfect old school heeldom. He was wearing Van Gogh print pants, for God's sake.
Starry Night.
Starry Night Van Gogh print.
Dressing.
Everything about the presentation, to his look, to his work on the mic, I love it. I love this heel. I really, unfortunately, like if I was to react appropriately to his presence, I should be hating him with all my guts. But from the presence of from the perspective of I want him on my television so that way I can enjoy his heeldom and boo him. I'm booing him, but I'm not really booing him.
You're appreciating him.
I'm appreciating him, and I hope that he can get beyond the low card heel work. I think he could be mid card, mid card heel. I'm not going to hold my breath for high top card, but I will. I can see mid card in the bit.
So good for him.
Good for him. The match that they
just don't put him in a match with Sheamus. You won't be able to see anything that's going on.
Oh God, would be
there's a pair of pants wrestling a mohawk.
No, what will happen is that the cameras are constantly trying to white balance themselves off of the reflection of their pale alabaster skin that they wind up burning themselves out. What are you doing? All of a sudden the cameras are sentient and they're driving themselves mad trying to appropriately white balance themselves. But the match that they had, Dillinger and English had, I appreciated the traditional heel work, the rest holds, and working heel the way English did. I really appreciate it. But Dillinger, you pointed it out to me because I'm not too familiar with Dillinger's finishing move where he botched it by. Everyone knows. All right, Dillinger's. All right, what was it? The tiebreaker where
tiebreaker.
We puts him on a fireman's carry. Then AA's him.
Flip them over and
AA's him onto his knee to do a backbreaker.
And it looks really cool. It's the same move that AJ Styles does.
It's the same move, but unfortunately, when he gets him up there, he twirls him the wrong way, and English lands face first into his knee.
Sadly, he didn't actually flip him like he's supposed to at all. He had him up here, and then he just kind of, almost like a go to sleep, I'm sorry to say.
Yeah.
He kind of did one of these, and knee to the face. And
oddly enough, that looks more impactful than the GTS.
It does look more impactful because
if that was the GTS, I probably wouldn't have that big of a problem with it.
But that's also what's scary about the way he did it,
because there's no way to protect yourself.
Yeah, the GTS, you basically let the guy down, and then he bows himself into your knee, I guess.
Yeah, and then that hurts so much.
This one actually looked like the painful version of that. Yeah. So it's sold in a way that we could believe that kind of would suck.
But that was not but that is not the tiebreaker.
But that ain't the tiebreaker, and you could see the frustration on Ty's face after he did the move, because he wins the match, and he's going like this. Ugh! And you're just, I feel for you.
Yeah, English feels a whole lot more than...
Yeah, he feels it.
He felt, he was fine. He got up and everything. Yeah. Hopefully he's fine. Maybe there's no residual blowback from taking that kind of a move. That's almost like taking a freaking burning hammer onto the knee.
Ugh.
Same setup. You're just basically dropping him onto your knee, like head first.
The thing is, it also, unfortunately, does not look nearly as cool as the tiebreaker, he did.
It doesn't look as cool, but this looks a whole lot more impactful. Sometimes the less impactful looking move is the one that actually hurts the most.
Yeah. But they had a perfectly mediocre match up until that point. I'm trying to polish this. I'm trying to be cool.
Yeah. Well, point I want to make here about this match in particular, though. All right, everyone knows that the curb stomp is banned. So why does WWE keep letting wrestlers take boots to the head while they're on the ground? Ty Dillinger literally did a curb stomp on Aiden English, except instead of him trying to get himself up from a prone position and then, landing on the back of his head, he was lying on his back on the floor, and then he did a stomp on his face. Which is way more dangerous than
when you stomp into people, you're not supposed to do it in their face, you're supposed to do it in their body or something.
Yeah. So why is it's the same move, except this is done way more dangerously. Well, that is way more dangerous.
That brings up for me is the curb stomp's done to the back of the head.
Yeah.
So what I'm wondering is, does that mean that if you have the person facing upwards, that it's more easy for them to protect themselves because they can actually see the spot? They can see the foot coming and figure out when to,
No, because when you're getting up, because there's like a lot of room for your head between the mat, so you have a bigger margin for you to catch your weight with your other foot. On the other side, when your head is already on the ground and your foot's coming down, way less of a margin of an error. Either you land perfectly on that foot, or you are ruining Aiden English's day.
Yeah, it seems to me that if you can see the spot coming, it's easier to figure out when to move or whatever. Whereas if it's the back of the head, you don't really know. It's all in the other guy to just not hit you. Just a,
Yeah, it's. I mean, like, on one hand, for the pro position on your back, you have, at the very least, you can throw your hands up. But on the other hand, if you throw your hands up, you're basically just deadening the move. I mean, it's sort of like in another spot later on the card. It's like trying to take the elevated DDT, but then landing on your feet first, and then it's like Jinder. We'll get to that, but oh boy, will we get to that! But you see, from the front-facing position, there's no way to protect yourself and still let the move look like it has impact.
Yeah,
I mean, you're kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place at that point. Do you either protect yourself to make sure that you're not hurt? Or do you let the move look good, and then pop it, and then probably split your skull open? Ugh. Again, it's just either unban the curb stomp, or ban all like boots to the head while the head's on the ground. Can we at least agree upon that? All right, that I'm off my soapbox for now.
All right.
So, next, the match the actual pay-per-view begins with, honestly, a surprise for me, because I wasn't expecting them to bust that match out at first, but Dolph Ziggler versus Shinsuke Nakamura in Shinsuke Nakamura's first WWE match. And, whew, they were teasing us about that entrance for so long. I mean, like, Ziggler comes out, gets the nice hearty boos. It's good that he's getting a reaction. And then silence for like a good solid 45 seconds. And people were all just like gearing up to hear it. Just like, come on.
Where's that string?
Where's that string? And then all of a sudden the lights go out and everyone knows. And this was a great entrance reaction for him.
And it wasn't even there was no accompaniment. And honestly, it's kind of better that way. Because of that first note is so,
boom,
waiting for it. It's like the Undertaker's bell waiting for it.
It's like that low hum of the like boom, 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 boom. Yeah. It kind of the way actually putting it like that, it honestly kind of reminds me of like a I was about to say Gustav Klimt's, but it reminded me of like the planets. Like that same kind of like that same kind of build, like Mars,
bringer of death, bringer of war,
and like Uranus, king of the planets. Yeah,
I do. Speaking of, I do like Emma's theme, but that would be funny if she came out to Mars bringer.
Really dun 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 dun. Yeah, exactly. But so the entrance came in, great reaction from the crowd, and honestly, like, even though there was like a few little like clumsy bits, especially during the grappling parts at the beginning of the match, the resulting match was pretty good. But I kind of expected a little bit better, I wanted to say, because we all know that Ziggler is capable of selling. Like, he can sell a stiff breeze and sell it like he got hit by an atomic blast.
Yeah,
he is grade A #1 seller, and I was expecting him to just go like flying across the room from like Kinshasa's all day, every day, all day, every day. But we didn't really get that. But what we did get was a fairly competitive and pretty engaging one-on-one match between like a striking expert and just an all-around
selling expert.
And
it was really solid. It wasn't quite a barn burner, but it was solid.
It was solid enough. I'm thinking that even though this was like his first official match in WWE proper, they're probably keeping this feud, simmering until they can explode it for a bigger pay-per-view, possibly SummerSlam.
Yeah,
that's what I'm thinking. It's a little too early to go like whole hog, even though By all rights, it should be a barn burner because everyone wants their first match to be a barn burner.
There was some wonderful striking. And well, I mean, it's like, you know, Shinsuke doesn't do a lot of grappling,
but he's capable. He's capable. Yeah. Not used to it, but he's capable. But I want to like there were several spots where like Ziggler like looked like he was about to break Shinsuke's arm. You want to talk about
a good arm.
Like there was
like lock and armbar in there.
There was like great armbar where it felt like he was just about to break Shinsuke's shoulder, just like wishboning him.
He does a few revolutions around it. It looks really good.
Yeah, that was...
If it didn't actually hurt, then, you know, that looked really good.
It looked good. I mean, like, there's, you know... Let's not pretend for one moment that strong style is just, you know, striking people, just shoot punches and such. Because when you get somebody up in an armbar like that, even if you work for Cirque du Soleil as a contortionist, that still hurts. Getting your shoulder wrenched that far back and having your wrist, you know, just pry back. Give Shinsuke the red badge of courage for taking that armbar. That was one of the more brutal submission holds we saw tonight. Not the most brutal. We could probably get to that later tonight.
Yeah.
But definitely up there. So from like all perspectives, this match was just filled with not just the hard strikes, but really painful looking holds. And some downright impressive bits of athleticism, especially on the part of Ziggler's, which is, you know, which is what we wanted this match to be. But maybe it was like this match was like an 8 or a 9, but we wanted this to be kicked up to 11.
Yeah.
But
you know, it was for Backlash, so they're
for Backlash, it's
gonna dangle it.
Yeah, I mean, it's like they could do some good work together. I'm hoping that maybe like they can bring out some more against each other further down the line. Maybe for a Money in the Bank, maybe for, you know, SummerSlam. Who knows? But I'm glad that his first match on the card was a good one. His first match in WWE was a good one. Any other particular spots we want to bring in? Oh, especially that brutal axe kick.
Oh yeah, you missed that, I think, though.
I did miss that because I was looking down at my notes.
Yeah, there's a really good spot where Shinsuke does his axe kick to the back of the head. Mm-hmm. Speaking of another curb stomp, it looked really brutal because his kicks, I think, just are brutal.
Yeah, like
so. Looks great. Wouldn't want to be him.
And again, like we bring up the curb stomp banning, like. So the axe kick to the back of the head is all right, but not the curb stomp. A super kick to the back of the head, very when Dolph Ziggler super kicked him to the back of the head, that's okay, but the curb stomp isn't. And although that's all semantics. Those are all semantic points. I'm glad that we're still able to do them and people can do them and still work safely. Mm-hmm. But you know, like nobody ever got injured with the. The
actual curb stomp.
With the actual curb stomp. Nobody ever got injured with that. Versus how many people got injured with the buckle bomb. You know. Sting. Finn Balor.
I'm surprised that, you know, Seth Rollins didn't hurt himself with it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's... Well, he did hurt himself with it when he was setting up for the buckle bomb. But then he landed too hard on one of his knees when he set himself up, and that's why he tore his MCL on that one time.
He actually hurt himself doing the buckle bomb?
Or at least setting up the buckle bomb.
The buckle bomb kills everything.
God, there's a reason why we don't see it very often these days.
It's like it's a cursed move.
Yeah, or at least when
Seth Rollins way back, you know, when somebody did a buckle bomb on they were on burial grounds or something, and
it's like the James Dean Carr of wrestling moves. It just ruins everyone's day. Oh, before we move on, there was one particular moment that made me chuckle, where they were trying to build up the commentary team was trying to build up Ziggler as being higher on the card than he actually is, so that way Shinsuke looks even better when he beats him.
Oh yeah.
But so was it JBL? I think it was JBL who asked out loud, like, how many big money matches did he win with the zigzag? And to which I answered, not many.
None.
Like all the big matches that he did win. All right, of all the big matches he was in and did win, which is even further down which is a further smaller percentage. He won
super kick
with a super kick.
I don't remember him ever winning a match with a zigzag, and it is not a very dignified move to lose to.
No,
at least by name.
Mm-hmm.
Really, even by application, it doesn't look like much of a finisher.
No, it's just
almost isn't it kind of almost like a zigzag or a sling blade kind of thing?
It's like a sling blade neck breaker.
I don't want to lose to the zigzag.
At the very least, I mean, we're not going to compare it to some of the truly bad finishers up there, but it is pretty weak sauce.
Yeah.
But again, Shinsuke hits him with the Kinshasa and 1, 2, 3. Can't argue with the result. Booked properly. Wish there was just a little bit more than what we got, but for a first match, it was good. It was good enough for us to have our appetites whetted. Hopefully, we get Money in the Bank soon, and then amp it up a little bit. But from there, we get to the most bizarre, most otherworldly, surreal match I can remember seeing in modern WWE. The tag team match between the Fashion Police, Breezango, and the Usos for the Tag Team Championship. This is for champion. This isn't just some throwaway match. This is for the SmackDown Tag Team Championship. And it begins for no discernible reason whatsoever, other than the fact that Tyler Breeze has Serpicoed himself so deep he doesn't know who he is. Tyler Breeze has gone undercover in the Fashion Police so deep he honestly believes that he's a janitor and a grandma. So he comes out to the ring as a janitor with a mop. And he's starting to win with using the mop.
He's got Moppy, and he's doing like an Abbott and Costello routine.
Like he's got Perry Saturn's mop, and he's winning with it, and he's not being disqualified for using a foreign object for some reason. And it worked. Like he's throwing the mop in like one of the Usos' face. He's using it to trip. And I did one of these. I just threw my notes down. I walked out of the room, and I am cackling like a nightmare. I know, like, this was my only response to what I was seeing. It was so weird. It was so... I couldn't... Like, it was like watching the beginning of the universe.
You couldn't process it.
I just couldn't process it. I couldn't remember laughing as hard as I did watching something for the first time since, at the very least, watching Very Private Lesson for watching Anime Abandoned. That was... It was that level of, like, banging my fist on the wall, trying to regain my humanity and civilized nature. It's like I was like a monkey in a zoo.
I think you stole all of the, you stole all the reaction for both of us, and I was just left kind of empty.
I was an emotional vampire. Yeah. I just siphoned up all your confusion and hysteria from you, and I just doubled down on my own. Like
you were screaming, and I was just
like.
Trying to watch here.
I'm trying to watch. I'm trying to watch
this weird, Peter Sellers routine where he's Peter selling it.
Yeah. And I collect myself for a moment, and I get back in, and there's Tyler Breeze still as the janitor, and he's being set up for like a dive off the top rope. But he's rolling away, so he goes to the other rope.
So Uso goes to the opposite turnbuckle to do it there, and then he rolls off to the other. It's like, God. It reminded me of when Daniel Bryan turtled up. So that the guy was trying to roll him into a pin, but he kept rolling because he was turtled up. So you had to keep rolling him around the ring trying to pin him. Did you ever see that?
Yeah, I did.
It's hilarious.
And the best part to me was that the crowd loved it. The crowd... They did. They were on Breezango's side.
It would have been awkward if they didn't. It's one of those. That's one of those situations where you really, they're either going to love it or they're going to be quiet. You're going to hate yourself every minute.
This is very, very. Yeah. This could have been very near to the Kennel from Hell match.
Yeah.
From what was it?
This could have gone
like No Mercy. Was it
so badly wrong?
Yeah.
He comes out with a mop and he's just mopping the ring. And so Uso charges at him, and he, mops out of the way. Uso hits the turnbuckle, and then he sticks his mop out, and he trips over it. Like, slapstick Laurel and Hardy crap. What the fuck? I should not be enjoying this.
But you know what it is? It's the fact that both Tyler Breeze, not only Tyler Breeze and Fandango, but also the Usos were so committed to the bit.
Yeah.
So committed to turning this shit into Shinola that you just had to like it just by virtue of like infectiousness. Like they look like they're having fun, so why don't I feel like that?
They clearly enjoyed Zoolander.
Yeah, they clearly enjoyed making, like, realizing that, you know what, nobody's taking us seriously, nor should we be taken seriously. Mm-hmm. That doesn't mean we can't be entertaining, and they were.
Yeah.
I mean, like, it's kind of hard after that match. It's hard to, take the Usos seriously ever, or let alone Breezango. But I can't say it's not entertaining. It is. And I get back and I see the whole bit where they're rolling him out and they finally kick him out and everyone's booing them. Like, I don't know if they're ironically booing them or they're just... Either way, a boo's a boo. They're getting a response. Ironic or not, smarky or not, they are getting a response. So, Fandango comes in and he starts legitimately wrestling and is like, oh yeah, I forgot. Fandango can go in the ring.
Yeah. Johnny
Curtis really has a lot of talent, and he's being criminally underutilized in that respect. But in comes Tyler Breeze again as a grandma.
Little cane.
With a little cane. And he bird dogs one of the Usos into... suckers them in, and he rolls them up and gets a 2 count, and they continue to try to go, and then they wallop him while he was in the grandma outfit, and even the...
He did a costume change during a wrestling match.
Which is the first time I've ever seen
that.
Outside of, like, that Royal Rumble where Mick Foley went in, like, 3 different times as, like, mankind. But this is one match, not, like, 1 over hour. So from that perspective, that was actually kind of a great idea for, like, a quick change. The fact that he was able to do that so fast without anyone really noticing. Or at least the camera's not picking it up. But... the crowd then starts chanting, like, let's go, Grandma! Let's go, Grandma! You know what? Chicago, you are, like, the weirdest crowd to ever hold a WWE event. I think the most telling part of this night was that at no point did they ever chant CM Punk.
No, I'm pretty sure. I heard a couple at least. I heard a couple.
You heard a couple, but it wasn't like this deafening CM Punk.
Yeah.
And every time it was like minor, and I think the crowd just kind of hissed them. Just like, no, don't do that shit. They did that at NXT. At NXT TakeOver Chicago. Granted, a lot of a good section of the other part of the crowd hissed them for doing that as well. But of the 2 events in Chicago... the Indie Darling NXT versus the SmackDown match in which Breezango, where half of Breezango plays dress up with the janitor and throws a mop in somebody's face.
How is he not disqualified?
First of all, how is he not disqualified? And second of all, would you not expect for that match to happen in Chicago and not be met with a chorus of CM Punk? But no! Like, sometimes the smarky crowd outplays itself. Like, this is like a DJ Khaled moment where
3 degrees of... Yeah, like, it's like, we're supposed to enjoy this, so we're supposed to boo it, but we're supposed to boo it, so we're supposed to enjoy it. Fuck.
You could eat your own head trying to cognize this fact where it's like...
But seriously, though, there was a foreign object in the match. Why was he not disqualified? He clearly hit somebody with a mop. I know. At what point do we care? Not give a shit anymore, but...
You know what?
The rules are the rules!
Of all the things to be a stickler about, especially in that match.
Yeah.
And the fact that
I just like to... I want to understand the referees' agenda, like, well, their protocol.
Like, I would think that, the referees are just as confused as we are. The commentary crew were the best, though. Where JBL, say what you will about JBL, he knows when there's a joke. And he's trying to, like, hit for the last ditch effort, like, I figured it out, guys! That's Tyler Breeze! Yeah. Jables? You just figured that out. And you were able to bully Mauro Ranallo. How? I'm surprised you know how to take out your dick to piss. God damn it, Jables. But my favorite bit about that entire match, though, was that Tom Phillips made a mistake. Said that Tyler Breeze pulled out Fandango when it was one of the Usos, and JBL corrected him.
Yeah.
JBL corrected Tom Phillips. How bad on commentary do you have to be to have JBL correct you? That's what this match was. And the most surreal part of this match is that towards the end of the match, where it actually turned into a wrestling match, they can go. Like the Usos dumped Tyler Breeze over the barricade.
That was what put the cherry on top of the whole match, was that it wasn't just, funny slapstick, step on a rake kind of shit. It was actually, towards the end of it, good wrestling.
Yeah, like great spots, like dumping Tyler Breeze over the barricade. That looked great. Fandango somersaulting over the ropes and landing on both the Usos. That looked great. The super kick from off the top rope and he dumps himself. That was great. It's like there's like your jaw just kind of hangs open like a ship through a rusty gate. Like just watching that entire.
It was a really good match.
It was
definitely the biggest surprise. Should not have liked that.
I've seen bad comedy matches. Like, I've seen the match where, like, you missed this. Glad you did. Where the Golden Truth turned on their tanning beds on Maximum. So they came out.
I know of which you speak.
Yeah, you missed that match. I watched it.
I've seen cutscenes from it.
Yeah, where Breezango comes out and they're covered in burns.
Yeah, and it basically becomes like a chop match because they want to, hurt their sunburns.
It just becomes one long.
Those two, that pair has been through some shit.
They deserved a match like this, where they took. This was the dictionary definition of taking shit and making Shinola out of it. And from that perspective, I dare say it is the best match on the card.
Please, no more Breezy Bella stuff. That's.
But as I was saying, like from that perspective of taking shit and making Shinola, this is one or top two matches on the card.
Yeah. Definitely. This is like the match that we are going to remember from the night.
Oh, well, no, another one on the match. We'll get to
There's
it.
another good one.
Fantastic.
This was the most surprising thing that happened.
Nobody expected this match to be memorable, let alone.
And I haven't gotten this dose of wrestle crap this much wrestle crap for a long time.
But we need to put an asterisk on that. This is wrestle crap, but this is entertaining wrestle crap.
Yeah.
This is.
I guess you're right. I mean, it's not like a dark ministry bits where you're hanging the boss man or something.
Yeah, like
levels of
wrestle crap. Even though that is wrestle crap, that's sort of like, oh god, they're really doing this. This was
intentionally supposed to be funny. You were supposed to laugh.
And it did make you laugh.
And it did.
I mean, probably not for the same reason though. Like. It intended to make you laugh, and you did laugh, but not necessarily for the humor that you saw, but rather for, you couldn't believe what you're seeing.
Yeah.
So, in the same way that you find yourself laughing at Tim and Eric, oddly enough,
Hell, Tim and Eric are definitely unorthodox humor. Mm-hmm. This followed a very, tried and true style of humor from, back in the old times.
Back in the olden days, when something like Buster Keaton and like the General and that kind of.
It was a traditional kind of humor, and they pulled it off.
I feel like I have to revoke my internet guy card by saying it, but they did. Jesus fuck my life. How did we get to the point where we're singing the praises for a Breezango match?
And where House of Horrors? What the fuck, man?
If you're gonna be wrestle crap, be wrestle crap.
Yeah.
This, bar none, best wrestle crap match.
I'm so upset. I was so goddamn upset that he didn't bring out the cross of the what was it? The cross of the apocalypse or whatever. The weapon of the apocalypse. Randy Orton should have had that, or Bray Wyatt should have had it at some point. And there was so much dumb shit they could have done.
Yeah, Breezango Breezango versus the Usos, Wrestle Crap match of the year. I can't imagine any other match happening anytime this year.
Yeah.
Reaching nearly a tenth of the amount of enjoyment I got out of this match, both ironically and sincerely. I would argue the Wrestle Crap match of the PG generation, of the PG era.
Yeah.
So like it's surpassed, like the Ambrose Asylum match. It surpassed the Haunted House match, Haunted.
It's almost hard to call it Wrestle Crap though because of how intentionally comedic it was.
It's hard to call it, but it is Wrestle Crap. When you're having one of your wrestlers dress up like a janitor and just doopsie doodle all across the mat, that's Wrestle Crap.
It's canon.
It's canon. So enjoy it on the network, guys. Oh, and one last little thing before we sign off on that. Talking about that, when one of the Usos, I think it was one of the Usos, threw away the grandma dress and lands on JBL's head.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that was a good bit. I'm pretty sure that wasn't intentional because and if it was intentional, there's no way to know it was going to work.
Yeah. So like that was a happy little accident that a camera managed to catch it, and they were more than happy to replay that
in slow motion.
In slow motion too. My favorite part about the replay on that is that JBL is obviously like, woman's clothing on me. Oh, get it off. I'm not Perry Saturn. And I mean, he's Perry Saturn with the mop. But there's one guy behind him.
And there was a mop chant.
That was great too. But one guy behind JBL was obviously in love with this. He was just doing the biggest yes chant. Yes!
I have waited for this moment.
Shame on JBL!
He should have put that thing on immediately.
Yeah. And Byron Saxton. So like, hey, this looks like it's your size, Jables.
Byron had a moment. Bullied Jables. Wow.
And you know what, JBL, he was a pretty sore sport about it at first, but like after the match, he kind of like, all right, fine. He knows that whatever you give, you have to take. So even though he hasn't been bullied to the point where he has to quit, nor do I necessarily want him to be bullied to the point where he has to quit.
But that would sure be, so that's what that's like.
So I hopefully, if he learns nothing else from it, from that experience. Additionally, one last thing, but also, how long has it been since we've seen an unprettier from Tyler Breeze?
How long has it been since you've seen any unprettier?
It's like, unprettier. Missed that finishing move. I wish it actually did finish matches.
God, who else had that? Did Edge ever use that? Because I feel like...
No, but Christian did.
Kill Switch.
Christian had it.
But it was called the Kill Switch, I think?
Yeah, Kill Switch, yeah.
And then I think maybe Victoria had the unprettier as well, possibly.
Yeah.
I think so.
But, yeah, it was Christian's move, and it was... I couldn't confirm nor deny if Victoria had it. Maybe she did, maybe, I don't know. But still, bring back the unprettier. All right, now we come to another surprise match on the card. Not surprise in terms of quality, but just surprise in terms of the outcome. Sami Zayn versus Baron Corbin. This had the makings of the best legitimate good match on the card. And
I am so happy that I stuck with Baron Corbin because, it's paying off.
Mm-hmm.
I was right.
You were proven right on a long enough timeline. You were more on his train than I was, and like... I was hating on Baron Corbin for so long because of all of his goddamn punch matches, especially with Dean Ambrose. God damn, he had boring-ass matches. And now looking more on it, I realize that it's mostly Dean Ambrose, not Baron Corbin. Especially if you're watching Dean Ambrose matches lately, he always seems to follow a pattern. How long until he dives over the rope and he does, woo! And how long, and like how often is he going to have like that look on his face? I'm just, like, I used to be in your corner, but, like, do something else. Break out of your pattern. Especially if your gimmick is that you're the lunatic fringe. You should not...
He's not really... His gimmick, he doesn't strike me as a lunatic. He never really does anything that is actually crazy.
No.
Like, he never gets, like, himself disqualified from doing something crazy or anything.
No.
So, but he seems more like a guy who's high, mildly high.
Or, although his little weird interview that he did for the Royal Rumble, where he's just kind of like,
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I enjoy his mic bits. His mic bits. I enjoy his bits on the mic. He has this like weird, like stoner mentality.
Like he's above it all, but he's like dirt. Like he's on like someone's dirt level as far as like social grace is concerned.
Yeah.
So like he presents himself as somebody who has no time whatsoever for like the trappings of being a WWE superstar outside of what happens in the ring, which is fairly true. So you can believe it. Like you can believe it when he doesn't want to answer questions in the like community lounge where he's just like, like I hate doing this. I just like can I just get into the ring and just beat people up and get beat up? That's what I want.
Not necessarily crazy.
No, it's like
just kind of detached, funny, kind of.
Yeah, just detached, and he's just not engaging, and that can be funny if played right. But that's Dean Ambrose, and
Nikki Cross, on the other hand.
I can't wait till she's on the card, until she's up in the main roster. But regardless, the Baron Corbin versus Sami Zayn match, whew, that was every bit as exciting as any match on TakeOver Chicago. Which I will say quickly, some matches I thought I would be fired up for. Kind of was a damp squib for me in the end. And one match that in particular where I was not expected to get invested in won me over completely was one of the matches of the year. One of the, damn straight one of the best matches of the year. Specifics because of this guy, he hasn't seen it yet, but NXT Chicago.
Oh boy, yeah, I still gotta see that.
So that's when.
Yeah, please. Thank you for not.
I'm not gonna go into specifics.
I'm trying not to look at Twitter.
Yeah. So, but I will say one of the matches is bar none the best match I've seen so far this year.
Nice.
So, and it's from two people.
Don't tell me who.
I know. Yeah, I won't. Yeah. But all I'll say is it's between two people that had a lot of hype going behind them, but. Like I didn't realize that they had this much hype behind them. Yeah. And then over the course of the match, I could see why. But Sami Zayn versus Baron Corbin was it reached levels like that, but for some reason I can't call it the best match on the card.
Yeah.
Mainly because even though I don't have anything about the booking of the match itself. Like I'm glad Sami Zayn got the win. I just wish it wasn't over Corbin.
Yeah.
Even though, I don't necessarily think this is going to hurt Corbin in the long run. And
Corbin came off of basically putting Randy Orton over the last SmackDown event. So that's 2 losses. And losing to Sami Zayn is it's not a... We all know Sami Zayn's awesome. He's a great wrestler. One of the best in the business. But normally he loses. So if you lose to him, it's kind of being buried.
It feels like that, but I don't know. Excuse me, but it's sort of like this balancing act because if Baron Corbin wins, of course he wins, but he doesn't necessarily get elevated for it. He doesn't necessarily get a good rub from it. Sami Zayn gets more of a rub for beating Baron Corbin,
and I'm okay with that, the way the match went. But it had to come off of him losing his previous match to Orton.
Yeah, the timing of the match could not be more.
This is reminding the same guy who was being pushed so hard that he took Braun Strowman out of the Rumble.
And Braun Strowman is feuding with Roman Reigns. I mean, he's not feuding with anything other than his doctors at this point. Yeah. But
so it's just come on,
you can't get more top card than that.
Please don't de-escalate Corbin. Please keep the rising action behind it. Keep him going. He's got so much more. He's got twice the amount of moves he had. A year ago.
Oh, obviously.
And it's
even 6 months ago.
Yeah, he's doing good. He's really doing good.
And nowhere is that more evident than in this match.
Yeah.
Luckily, he had a good dance partner in Sami Zayn.
And being able to keep up with the energy level of Sami Zayn is difficult.
But
especially when you're a big guy like him.
But the spot after spot was it all worked so well. From the attempted exploder suplex into the corner.
Yeah.
Like, just seeing moments like that where, you want Sami Zayn to do it, but you realize he's just too big. He just can't do it. And, he had to give it up, but then he moved on to another one.
But really, he was just too close to the turnbuckle.
Yeah.
If he would have done that exploder suplex that close to the turnbuckle, he would have gone out of the ring.
Oh, yeah, that's... he would have just...
It was not going to happen, and I was just like, Sammy, do you know how close you are to the turnbuckle right now? It's like, you are almost touching it with your back. Where are you going to drop him?
Ass over... He's just going to send the ass over tea kettle over the turnbuckle and just down on the mat and just take the worst bump easily of the night.
Like, get an exploder suplex to the outside of the ring is like...
that's... nah. Just, no. That would have elicited a whole bunch of, like...
yeah, like another moment that almost happened.
Almost happened, but, you know. Again, going with the idea of, like, they're saving that moment for a later spot, somewhere down the line.
That spot scares the shit out of
Oh,
me.
I know. But, but like, seeing that careful back and forth with Baron Corbin and Sami Zayn, he does the deep six, that beautiful pearl of a sidewalk slam, and then turning that into, like, this great clothesline from hell, where
I love that move, where that spot where somebody throws him and he just baseball slides out of the ring and immediately runs back into the other side of the ring and closes lines. God, it is so picture perfect. So sweet.
You have 6'8" guy just running around the ring like that and just being able to dive over the ropes like that. It's just beautiful to behold. And then, like, the story being told with the backbreakers, like all the bear hugs and the backbreakers on Sami Zayn.
So good.
That choke slam onto the backbreaker.
The bear hug front slam or spine buster.
Spine buster, which I have to ask the question, what's the difference between a bear hug spine buster and a Luthez press? I just have to ask.
Yeah. The ones where you're catching the guy, the other is where you're leaping onto him, I guess, kind of, or both of you are.
Yeah, it's at that point you might as well be asking, what's the difference between a TKO and an F5? Like, what? One is this a slam, and the other one is that you're doing it with it, turning it into a neck breaker as you go down. It's like it's the exact same move.
Semantics, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, Baron Corbin is looking really freaking good. I love his temper tantrums. They're really. No one throws a fit like him.
Nope.
No one.
Nobody does. And you're waiting for the end of days to happen, but then all of a sudden, haluva kick! And then there was a moment where it was like, wait a minute, could Sami win? It is a haluva kick. They haven't buried the haluva kick. And then 1, 2, 3. Like,
I have to...
Like, what? It's like...
Normally I'm really happy when Sami Zayn gets a win. I didn't want to see Corbin lose at this point.
You didn't want it, but
not after last time.
But here's the thing: like, you didn't want him to lose, but you wanted Sami Zayn to win. And I said to you,
but Sami Zayn, he perseveres through losses all the time. I know he's not going to lose this match, and then suddenly, you're not seeing him as often. That's not going to happen.
Well, it's not going to happen.
With Baron Corbin, I'm a little worried now that they're having him lose twice in a row when he was being pushed as hard as he was.
I would say to that, I would say that at a certain point, what would be the point for cheering for Sami Zayn? There's like there's only so much goodwill the audience is willing to expend on a babyface. But if he never wins, it's like, why?
Yeah, give him another match and have him win it.
I would say, give him another match and have him win it, probably.
Because I did not want to see Baron Corbin go the way it's going right now. It's like he's improving. He's getting better. He's like, he's got this perfect setup where he never goes backwards. You never see him go backwards. He never botches a line, even though he's got really simple lines. It's just like this steady incline, and I'm hoping the business realizes what they got with that.
Me too. Like I said, it's me too. But I don't think that him losing to Sami Zayn is nearly as catastrophic as you make it out to be.
Yeah.
I think that he can, pick up his ball, move with it.
Here's hoping.
Yeah, me too. Like, especially considering the outcome of another match on the card. Maybe, like, we'll see what happens later on with that. But as I said to you as this match began, where if I'm at a point where people are on equal footing on me as how much of a fan I am. I always go for the face.
Yeah.
Because that's what I'm supposed to do. And again,
well, isn't that a good boy?
I'm just saying I can rest with my conscience easier if I can cheer for the face versus the heel. Yeah. So, if it just so happens that I like the face and the heel about the same much. If it's, but if it's uneven, I always cheer for the person I'm more a fan of, even if they're heel.
What if they're a face, technically, but you know that they actually want you to boo them?
I cheer them anyway.
That's how you get back at them for Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
They're like, I know that he's the meta heel. Yeah, Roman.
You're great, Roman. Oh, you are so great. If there was a way to chant sarcastically, then that would just completely deflate the entire match.
I'm only happy when it rains.
When it rains, it soars.
Now you sound like a freaking Charlotte Flair now. Nobody. I need no one.
It's like everybody loves you, Roman. Speaking of Charlotte, let's get to the
next one.
Yeah, it is the next one. It is the 6-woman tag match. Now, here's the question about this match. Is it the worst match on the card? I'd say it is. And I give you 3 reasons why. 1, being a 6-woman tag match means it's incredibly hard to keep up. It's no one woman really shines.
But that's the nature of the match.
It's the nature of the match.
It's a shitty situation.
It's a shitty situation. You got to make the best out of it. But that still doesn't make it good.
I hate to bring out your woman matches.
Yeah, It is a bring out your woman match, and even the booking was just terrible about this match. Not to say that the other contender for the worst match on the card didn't have its fair share of bad booking, but that's neither. We'll get to that point. But it was badly booked. And number 3, Tamina, Natalya. Actually, that's 4. Natalya and Tamina. Carmella gets a pass.
Yeah, she does.
Carmella gets a pass. But actually, more I think about it, I'll even give Tamina a pass. But Natalya,
the talent in this feud is really lopsided.
Really
lopsided.
The face team of Naomi and Becky Lynch and Charlotte, swerve, but the talent on that side is leagues and oceans beyond the talent on display with the heel side, and that's sad because Natalya is a pretty good worker. It's actually a really good worker, but she just sucked in this match, especially when she was with Becky. When Becky tagged in, sporting the simultaneously the most ridiculous yet awesome hairstyle.
So that's my favorite point of the match. And that's why this match, I think, is going to go over the main event. Because all singled around her hairstyle in this match. She had the Shiva mohawk thing going on with braids on the sides. It would look like her head was on fire. Really on fire. It was amazing. Yeah. Yeah,
it reminded me a great deal of the heroine from Horizon Zero Dawn, where long red, tall red braided hair flowing over the back. It's very much, even though it's not necessarily Irish in that way, it's not necessarily Irish, it's Scottish, especially with the braids. Mm-hmm. I'm willing to, you know what?
It's so awesome.
It's Gaelic, all right? It's Gaelic. We'll give it a pass.
Oh, man, the amount of work that must have gone into teasing that up, though.
Yeah, well...
It looked very Mad Maxy.
Yeah.
It was so cool. I couldn't even concentrate on anything else because this big red, burned onto your retina.
It was this mane of hair. Yeah,
Damn, that looked good. And it made her, almost 0.5 times taller.
It added a good 4 to 5 inches of height to her. Yeah. So she was about as tall as Charlotte. Charlotte is a mean 6 feet. Like, not too many.
That's how poofy it was. Yeah.
Like, it's very tough for women to reach past the 6 foot mark.
I love how often I get to talk about her aesthetics.
Yeah, I know, right?
It's things like every single pay-per-view she's in. I have something to frickin' say about the wardrobe or the makeup or the hair.
Not necessarily the in-ring prowess or the work on the mic, but just their attire and their look. How progressive of you.
Her attire and look. Specifically.
Her attire.
And some other people.
But let's not forget about the main meat of this match here. And that is Natalya's utter lack of selling. How in the world... Alright. I get that you're trying to sell... in this case, Becky Lynch's offense. I get that. But when you're preempting her strikes and like literally ducking it looks like you're Matrix dodging her punches. Nothing of hers looked like it connected. It all looked like she was Matrix.
That's a good point. It looked like she had like some kind of precognizant awareness of like when a move was going to happen. Yeah, that's a funny way of looking at it.
Yeah, so she's just Matrix dodging out of everything, and it's obvious that she's Matrix dodging. And yet we're supposed to believe that those hits connect. I'm like Newman in Jurassic Park. What was it, Wayne Knight? Yeah, that was the actor's name, Wayne Knight. I shouldn't say Newman. That's terrible to do. Well, he's playing two different characters.
Well, I think that it was technically Jeff Goldblum's voice, though. Even though it was a picture of...
Wayne Knight, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if you can't remember the character's name in the movie, at least remember the actor.
I know the name. I remember... The sad thing is I can't remember the actor's name, but I can remember the Jurassic Park name. Not Newman from Seinfeld, but I do remember Dennis Nedry.
Seinfeld, huh?
What was it?
Seinfeld.
Seinfeld. Sorry, Seinfeld.
Yeah.
You know what I mean.
Here we are in beautiful Seinfeld.
Seinfeld. God damn it. Fuck you. Fuck you.
Oh,
you remember Newman. I remember Jurassic Park. Dennis Nedry. I guess you can be fairly judged by the way you remember him. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, anyway, it's. But then again, to Seinfeld's credit, discredit. I only remember Newman's name because Seinfeld would say Newman, and that managed. Yeah. So it became like it's a point of focus. But Wayne Knight, Wayne Knight was in this match.
Man, we are so off the track.
Off the goddamn track. But back to the point at hand. Natalya, you sold shitty. That was some of the worst. Bad selling. And then to get Becky Lynch to tap out to the sharpshooter. I mean, this match...
Of all the people to tap out in that match, they chose Becky Lynch, the person who basically is supposed to be 5 points in willpower, no tapping out kind of...
I mean, like, I get that you're trying to have your... I mean, you can't have the champ tap out. And Charlotte is pretty much, like, on the precipice of getting her title back, or at least getting the SmackDown Women's title back.
Yeah.
Getting the SmackDown Women's title. So if you're going to have the heels win, I guess you have to... I guess the only one who could realistically take the fall and still come out no worse for wear is Becky.
Uncharacteristic. She tapped way too much, way too fast, like a bitch. I didn't like it.
No, just have the heels cheat or something. It's hard to do a low blow on a woman, and even though, all right, I know that if you hit anyone down below the belt, it's going to hurt no matter what. But it's not like you can really cognize the act of punting her necessarily. But regardless of that, have them cheat, rake in the eyes or something like that. Hit him with a belt. Well, no, they couldn't do that. Naomi has the belt.
Yeah, but they could still steal it
or something like that, or just for somebody. Well, you can't. I don't know, like somebody slide in a chair for have somebody
mop. Okay, why don't you use a mop? Because apparently that's not illegal.
Like have Ellsworth distract and then slide Ellsworth Ellsworth.
Hit her with Ellsworth.
Hit her, yeah, exactly. Just hit her with Ellsworth. That's great. It's not man-on-woman violence that the woman's using the man to extract violence on the other woman.
It's really unfair. He's being used.
Yeah, like if you're going to use him, use him. Yeah, like that's pretty much all that entire 6-woman tag match really amounted to be. Is just bring out the women match.
Yeah. Yeah. Moving on.
Moving on. And moving on to outside of the finish, the match of the night for me. Outside of the finish.
Yes. Yeah.
Outside of the finish, the match of the night for me. And even with the finish in mind, I don't mind it too much. It is Kevin Owens versus AJ Styles for the U.S. Championship. And holy Christ, has the U.S. Championship never looked so good.
Yeah.
To see these guys go at it for as hard as they did over the U.S. title, goddamn did Kevin Owens make that belt look good.
Slow-paced match, but with some really good spots. And scary spots.
Slow-paced. It began pretty slow, but when they built up, it built up. From AJ just doing a back suplex off the apron, or Kevin Owens using
like 3 sentons in a row,
doing a fisherman suplex off the top rope, or
a fisherman suplex off the top rope. I can't remember the last time I saw that.
Yeah, fisherman. I'm sorry, it wasn't off the top rope; it's off the second rope. But but still, fisherman suplex. Yeah, exactly. Oh man, and then like the mother of all ankle locks. Not since not since the heyday of the ankle lock with our very own
Kurt?
No, not Kurt.
Shamrock.
Not since Shamrock have I seen such just a vicious ankle lock.
Shamrock's the best ankle lock, obviously, because he actually won UFC fights with it.
Yeah, but like when you saw Kevin Owens take AJ's ankle, and near as makes no difference, twist it around like he was trying to pop it off, like it was a twist top. I was surprised that he was able to walk after that. That was brutal.
From the looks of it, yeah.
Yeah, like that.
Definitely.
That was, I'm like, even if you knew like he was all right, like that was that was a rough submission hold. Just, I would imagine that it would be easier to shit an elevator cable than to take that ankle lock, especially holding it for as long as it did.
Yeah, it looked good.
It looked good.
It looked bad. It looked horrible.
It looked horrible. Yeah. But like the back and forth of this match was just like it was like a slow simmer to a roiling boil. Because as we said, it kind of began slow with just some traditional holds and headlocks. But as it began to build, it built off. We're talking about that. We're talking, like I said, that fisherman suplex off the second rope, the suplex off the apron, and finally, but the one thing that we almost got, and I'm thinking they're holding off on this, if they're really planning to do it, the Styles Clash off the apron.
Yeah. You've seen it off the steel steps.
With Ellsworth.
But this was off the apron, and it's with Kevin Owens instead of Ellsworth. So that's a bit more of an impact. Oh
God! Although part of me wishes that if they did do it, because of Kevin Owens' belly, they kind of bounced off like woo, wee, wee. He starts riding him like a Yoshi. Wee,
I still can't.
Wee.
I still can't believe the first time you were like, he did an elevated Styles Clash, Gabe. Guess where he did it? I guessed everything except the steel steps.
He guessed the scaffolding.
I actually entertained the idea that he would do a Style Clash off the scaffolding.
Yep, like he was Shane McMahon.
Like they can all hand in their sacks because like the wind blowing their hair back as they fall down off the scaffolding. Okay, you ready? Don't tuck your chin, you'll be fine.
Yeah, like the camera cuts to like an Ellsworth-shaped hole in the concrete.
Oh man.
That was...
No, Gabe, it wasn't off the scaffolding.
It was off the scaffolding. But unfortunately, or fortunately, I don't know if... Kevin Owens could take the elevated Styles Clash off the apron.
Or I don't think he'd want to, that's for sure.
Kevin Owens has a history of taking ridiculous bumps in his days of Ring of Honor. And that was when he was fatter than he was...
Like, does anybody know that they want to take a Styles Clash till they've done it? I mean...
the thing is, don't tuck your chin, and it's actually kind of weak. Because you're basically just kind of falling.
You're falling with your limbs kind of tied up in another guy's body on top of you. If it's an elevated, version of it, that's really scary.
Oh yeah.
You're basically got the guy's legs up, and you're holding onto their legs. Yeah. So you basically have nothing to protect yourself with.
Yeah.
So you're just looking down at the floor, and you're like, "Great, I'm gonna kiss that. Let's do this. Whenever you want to."
I don't know. I would rather take the elevated Styles Clash than take even a regular Vertebreaker. That Vertebreaker, oh god. I keep coming back to the Vertebreaker, but that is still the single hardest move to take in my opinion. But because again, it's the same problem. There's nothing to cushion your fall. Even if you took a burning hammer, you could probably cushion your fall a little bit with your hands, a little bit.
Yeah.
But taking that, when your arms are locked up and they're locked up, you're just either you have three options. You either land on the back of your neck and possibly dislocate your neck. You could land on the top of your head and compress your neck, or you could not tuck your chin and keep it elevated, and you just bust your fucking chin. Either way,
it's not going to be fun.
No matter what,
it's going to suck.
It's going to suck. So that's why, no matter what, I'd rather take the Styles Clash. It all sucks. Let's just agree that.
Well, let's just hope that you never have to find out.
Yeah. It's like Vince McMahon just comes to my house one day and says like, "You're gonna get $1 million, but you're gonna have to take one of these two moves. Choose wisely." And
you choose the scare.
And as soon as I take the move, there's Vince McMahon, and he chose poorly.
Now I want choose your own ending wrestling books.
You chose poorly. But
no, I got the moppy gimmick.
But,
no.
Know your role.
They gave me a guitar. I'm finished.
Know your role. It's a D20 system.
Know your role. Has that ever been a thing?
Yeah, there was, I think.
Did Noah do something with that?
No, like he teased it one time.
Okay.
He teased it one time, but he never talked about it, I don't think. Where it was basically a D20 system of...
Bob, you botched. Yeah, you did. Not so bad for you, bad for the other guy.
So you're lower down the card because you can't work safely.
Well, actually, yeah, pretty bad for you.
Yeah, So, but this match was going great up until the finish where AJ got his leg hooked up at a table and he was counted out and Kevin Owens retains, and because of the rules of the matchup, he doesn't get a rematch. Because he was the one AJ was the one counted out.
So we keep, no one gets over.
No one really gets over, unfortunately. But they were at a rock and a hard place. Kevin Owens is making that U.S. Championship. He really is with that Face of America gimmick, and I really like it, and I want him to keep it. But I don't want him to keep it at the expense of AJ.
No. So
I can see the finagles. Especially with the match, like the match that they had was just like that. So I'm thinking they're going to reignite this feud sometime later on, and hopefully we can get a proper conclusion.
Oh, and don't forget that one spot where he basically just takes AJ and balls him up.
Oh
and
yeah,
drops him on his head.
Oh yeah, what we thought was like a modified Death Valley driver. Oh,
gnarly.
Yeah, it was almost like a burning hammer to the knee. That was fucking gnarly. But speaking of gnarly, here's the set it and forget it match of the night. The other contender for the worst match of the night: Luke Harper versus Eric Rowan. Who gives a shit about this match? Nobody, I say.
You really think that this was better than the women's match?
At least I could follow what was going on.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard not to, how slow-paced it is.
Yep. And this was better than the women's match because of three simple things. One, at least there was some booking to it. Two, the right man won. And they won the right way.
Okay.
So all around better booking, easier to follow. I could say more good things about this match than I can say about the other match.
I guess that's a fair point. Yep.
So, but that isn't to say this is a good match. You know, if it wasn't for the it would have a tough time being worse than the six woman tag match.
If you can't say something good about a match, you can compare. You could say something that it was not bad about.
Yeah, like for the lack of anything legit good to say about it, I can
at least say it was better than something else.
Oh yeah, so you know, comparatively speaking, yes, it is leagues, and I wouldn't even say leagues. That's exaggeration, but I would say it comes out better than the six woman tag.
Well, match. I had to think about it. So
well, yeah, I mean, it's not as clear cut as I make it out to be, but. It's not as clear cut, but you have to acknowledge that there is way more to be said about this match than the other one.
Yeah,
and that has everything to do.
Well, is it more good to be said? You mean,
or yeah, there's more good to be said. Like even though it meets the bare minimum of good things to be said about it, as in like you're able to follow the match and the booking is feasible and understandable and nothing is untoward, then yeah, like. I guess it wins by default. I mean, like, you know, average and par is not necessarily a good thing, but it is better than bad. Straight up bad. So, make of that what you will. So, Luke Harper won after a lumbering, what JR would charitably describe as a slobber knocker match. Mm-hmm. And even though he should be winning, and this feud is pretty much dead in the water without Bray Wyatt, and this is just... sort of like the vestiges of what happens when you have to, when you had to shuffle around because things were getting stale.
Yeah.
But you know what? Even though they weren't able to pull a Breezango and make Shinola out of this shit, it's not as smelly as shit.
Yeah, it wasn't botch-worthy and stuff. It
wasn't botch-worthy, and they sold appropriately. They didn't try to matrix dodge out of each other's way. Although that would even be more impressive considering their size, though. Like if 6'8" Eric Rowan was able to like woo woo woo.
Well, the actual intentional version, I guess, is kind of like with Aleister Black recently. I think he's got this kind of interesting thing where just hands behind the back, you know, bulletproof monk style.
Which, you know, why is that guy face? Why is that guy face? What? The only thing that I really find, the only thing that I wanted to bring up as far as this match is concerned is this weird spot where Rowan gets to the top turnbuckle, dives, and there's no water in the pool, and I'm thinking, what in the world was he trying to do? Like, was he going in for a flying headbutt, and then that was it? Because he just kind of human missiled it, like...
Well, maybe there's a little lag.
Like he was airborne, and he was about to input his move, but he forgot the input, and so he just...
At least it's not as bad as those... I mean, I enjoy them every time they happen, but where you're, like, off the top turnbuckle, and you're... about to do a move, but you know that he's, you know, just getting ready for the other guy to do a move, so he just basically does one of these.
And it's like, all right, now hit me now. Yeah.
Just a weak little. I don't know what move you were going for.
I don't know, but at least there's an attempt versus just like Eric Rowan moving through space, like he was Buck Rogers, just waiting for something to happen and nothing does. I struggle with this at night, Gabe. I toss and turn, not getting any sleep because of this.
One of those moments where, you know, guys running towards you and you go, like, because you think you're going to, like, do a backdrop, I guess?
No.
It was like, kick me!
That spot drives...
I suddenly feel like bowing to you.
That spot drives me up a wall, too. When was the last time you saw somebody set up the back body drop and it actually connects?
It actually connects. Well, it's been a while.
And now we got to it. The crown, well, I want to say the crown jewel, but like the capper to this night of what the fuckery.
Yeah.
Jinder Mahal versus Randy Orton for the WWE Heavyweight Championship. This was kind of a non-match for the first 15, 20 minutes.
It was pretty dull as dishwater.
Pretty
kind of boring. It was
kind of boring. But then Randy Orton just kind of had to exact his revenge on the Singh boys. And
if I gave, a half a shit, then I would have enjoyed that.
But when you saw
still really.
But
okay, I really.
Let's just clear the water right now. Let's just clear the air right now. Did Randy Orton, I don't know what he was trying to do. He was trying to suplex them, I suppose, off onto the table. But they overflip and they landed
What was weird is that it was like the first one felt like a botch.
Yeah.
And then the second one felt like a
worse,
really, really big botch.
Yeah, worse botch. Because he flipped him. It looks like he was going to land on the back, but they probably underflipped. Because then they looked like they were coming down on their heads.
It was weird.
Yeah, and then the other Singh, Randy Orton took the second Singh, which he already, kind of tossed into the table, did it again, and then he landed even worse than the first one, landing nearly on his head, and Randy Orton, unable to hide it, kind of goes like this. And then just tries to turn
it was even worse. He did like a pure Ellsworth.
You're like, Rrr.
And he kind of goes...
He's just like, oh god, I hope I didn't kill him.
It's like I know I have to walk off like a badass and everything in character. I really want to look behind me and make sure he's okay, not dead. Don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. Oh, I'm so fucked.
It's like, oh god, I hope I didn't kill him. Which,
Yeah.
At the very least, considering how Randy Orton often wrestles like a predator, like a goddamn predator,
Yeah.
It's actually kind of nice to see him actually show concern for his other guy. Even though a
predator of a very specific variety.
We're not gonna say it. We're not gonna say it. But of course, seeing Randy Orton just especially with his past, where everyone knows that he has a goddamn temper. Seeing him actually show break kayfabe to show a little concern about oh, I hope I didn't kill that guy. Hope I didn't kill that guy.
I guess that was kind of nice to see.
At the very least, yeah, it was he's, it's just a little friendly reminder. They're yeah, he's human. He's a dad.
He's human. Yeah.
He's human. He's a dad.
He's certainly human because it's very human to make mistakes.
Very human to make mistakes and show concern and worry about.
Be they in the ring or outside.
Yeah, but then cutting to the chase at the end of this kind of a boring, dull as dishwater match, he lands the Cobra Slam, and Jinder Mahal is now our new World Heavyweight Champion. How the fuck do you go from losing in I believe it was it the Royal Rumble? I believe it was the Royal Rumble. Might have been the Royal Rumble. I forgot. What was the last?
I remember that he lost to Mojo Rawley in the
before WrestleMania, so it might have been Fastlane.
Yeah,
might have been Fastlane where
Andre the Giant match. He lost. He was the last two people he lost.
He was one of the last two. So that just seemed like a throwaway match because the Andre Memorial Battle Royal is always just so. Anyway, so the fact that he was one of the last two and that Mojo won really doesn't mean anything.
Although, imagine an outcome where if Mojo lost and he became the winner, Mojo being champion now.
Oh. I mean, you want to talk about wrestlers who you've hitched your wagon on and you later regret.
Yeah.
From that point in his career to even just a bit before that, where he lost, there was for this weird booking decision where he and Rusev just split from their little partnership, and they wrestled separate guys for one reason or another. I remember that Rusev wrestled the Big Show, but I forgot who Jinder wrestled.
I just don't remember.
I don't remember that low point in his career.
Jinder really never stuck out until he got a really good exercise regimen.
Yeah, yes. Oh, there's acne? Oh, no, it's just I'm going through second puberty, guys.
Yeah.
Anyway, from that point in his career, which was only 2 or 3 months ago, to being the WWE Heavyweight Champion.
We know what Vince likes.
Vince McMahon likes big sweaty men. Vince McMahon likes big sweaty men who also appeals to the Indian demographic. Vince McMahon likes big sweaty men who appeals to the Indian demographic. Vince McMahon. So, excusing all of that, excusing, like, this is obviously a naked attempt to try to appeal to the Indian demographic. At the very least, if they're going to do that again, he's better than the Great Khali. I know that's a very low bar, but if you're trying, all I'm saying is if you're trying to appeal to the Indian demographic and put a wrestling foothold in there.
I don't know. I think that the Great Khali might be a really good wrestler. The problem is that he's not finished with his move yet. We still have yet to see how it goes.
I guess what you're trying to say is that the Great Khali was very slow in the ring. Oh, even though that's a low bar, at the very least, there's enough upside to Jinder that you could build him as an actual legit wrestler and a legit presence in the roster to, be representative, to be a representative for your Indian representative rather. So even though it's coming at the expense of like this really, really awful gimmick of basically turning this awful gimmick of being like, you don't accept diversity. And
I hate that gimmick so much.
You can't argue that it doesn't work. I mean, like, even the Smarky crowd, even the Chicago Smarky crowd, who could see through that bullshit, was booing Jinder Mahal.
You do remember he also got a huge chant.
He also got a huge chant, but he did get boos at the beginning.
He got boos, but dude, he got like a really big chant at a certain point. Like, he almost had everybody behind him at a certain point.
But
they had I think, let's go, Jinder sucks.
Let's go, Jinder sucks.
Yeah.
Versus, like, the Chicago crowd who would totally be behind Jinder. I mean, this is Chicago we're talking about. I mean, if any city is trying to be hip to what the WWE is doing and going completely opposite of that, just because they hate what they did with CM Punk, it's Chicago. And even then, there's still a huge contingent of the crowd that was willing to boo Jinder Mahal. Even though they probably are on the same level of smarkiness as everyone else. The fact that there were some people actually a good half chunk of the crowd was able to cheer for Jinder, really shows, like, their commitment to even, like, just be like, yes, you, Jinder, you're right, we don't accept diversity. We don't. We are closed-minded. As they're trying to smile through a rictus as their brain goes through a stroke. I think this is Vince McMahon's grand plan. They knew exactly what they were doing in Chicago, and he knew that people in Chicago could see right through that gimmick. So he knew that, like, by doing that, they would have to cheer for Jinder. But having to cheer for Jinder means that you're also meaning that you're acknowledging that America doesn't accept diversity, and then
Let's not get into politics now.
Yeah, I know. That's a fucking landmark.
There's no way that the WWE is possibly trying to stoke that fire.
Oh, obviously not. Especially with, they have a completely clean record with people in political ties. Especially today's climate.
Wrestling's the escape. Please don't let us lose one thing.
But the match in of itself will only be remembered for the outcome. Jinder Mahal is now our WWE champion. You know what? I'm curious to see where this goes. I don't think Jinder is the best wrestler, not even like a great wrestler.
No.
He's not even a real good wrestler. He's a passable wrestler with a fairly weak finisher. The Cobra Slam, or whatever he calls it.
And his physique is...
His physique looks like
he's in a permanent flex state. Like, I think if you asked him to flex, like, hey, show us your... It would just look the same, because he's already... That's his secret. He's always flexing.
Jinder Mahal's body looks like the roadmap of Mars. It's a lot of creases and valleys and just mountains and peaks.
But it's like everything a part of his anatomy, it looks like it's completely stiff and unmoving. Like, I don't know how he walks.
I
Like, you know, you see Alberto Del Rio with his build, like he can bounce his bounce his pecs around and stuff.
Considering his financial situation, he better hope his checks don't bounce.
God, I handed you a good one. Oh, you owe me.
Yeah, relying on TNA for your paychecks. Let's see how well that could work out there, Alberto.
But seriously, I don't see Jinder's muscles ever move. It's a little weird.
He's like a golem, a rock golem.
Exactly. He's like, you almost hear grinding. It's weird.
So from a story perspective, I'm wondering where this goes. Will there be a rematch with Randy Orton? Of course there will, because that's champion's advantage. But I'm wondering, all right, where is this going to go? How long is this going to go? And where is this building to? So from that perspective, yeah, I'm on board with it. So I think all in all, Backlash, it was a weird as fuck show, but a good kind of weird.
Yeah, on the most part, it really was.
There was only 2 matches on the card that were clunkers, and they were fairly quick clunkers, so they could, just sweep them out, get them out of the way. We had a fantastic match with an unfortunately bad finish. We had another fantastic match that could have been a fantastic match that where the right man won, but just at the wrong time. We had a fairly boring match with an interesting outcome. We had a balls to the wall crazy fucking match that will be remembered in the annals for years to come, in the same breath that we used to talk about like the Kennel from Hell match and such. And then we got a fairly good match and a nice start of a WWE career.
Wait, which one of those was the Ty Dillinger one?
Ty Dillinger.
Because that was the mediocre match with a botched finish.
And then we also got a mediocre match with a good start, but a kind of a bad finish. That could have been worse. That could have been way worse. But one of my favorite pay-per-views of the year is coming up in Extreme Rules.
Yes.
Will we see
one of our favorites?
One of our favorites.
Definitely.
One of our favorites. Will we see another tech spot? I don't think so. And I don't know anyone who's willing to take a tech spot onto the canvas. But I'm hopeful that there will be another spot like that.
And hopefully no frickin' chainsaws.
No, well, there wasn't chainsaws in Extreme Rules. There was just a chainsaw in the frickin' street fight with Brock Lesnar. Oof.
No chainsaws, please.
No chainsaws, and
I neither want to see it threatens neither want to see someone threaten another person with an actual chainsaw, nor do I want to see someone actually be murdered.
And and more Alexa Bliss beating up Bayley with a kendo stick, please.
I hate to say it, but yes, more of that.
More
Alexa Bliss doing anything.
Oh, come on, let's get real hardcore. Let's have a goddamn Texas style death match where the ropes are on fire and or they're replaced with barbed wire. I mean, look, come on. This is the women's revolution now. They could do anything.
Maybe, I don't know, maybe this match can, get Bayley a little bit past her. I'm a fan. This is my first time ever saying this. This is my first match.
Fuck that. I'm not even expecting that. Can she just cut a promo without doubling down on herself, for God's sake? This is not a David Mamet play.
Yeah.
Say what you're gonna say without well, that thing is like that, and well, I'm gonna drop that for now. But you that is some of the worst mic work.
Yes.
Some of the worst mic work. Holy crap on a stick, that was terrible. That is so terrible. I can't stand to hear her talk these days. I just can't.
It is really, really cringe.
It is so bad. So utterly bad.
She was coming off so hot in NXT. She was doing, I guess her mic work was limited then, very limited then, but her, in-ring ability was great, and it was really quirky and fun. The character's supposed to be, and that's really just been diminished over time.
Sure has been, but
whatever happened to the frickin' arm lock high fives and the Russian dancing on their back? That was good stuff.
So much lost. Hopefully, this is where I know that they can have a good match with. She can have a good match with Alexa Bliss, but I'm just wondering how Extreme Rules they'll actually go. Especially if we know that thumbtacks can be allowed in today's WWE. Yeah. Am I asking for Alexa Bliss to dump Bayley into a bed of thumbtacks? Yes, I am. Alexa Bliss, will you please dump Bayley into a pit of thumbtacks? Maybe do like a Randy Orton punt to her head so she could be sent away for a little bit, and she could come back as heel Bayley, Healy. And she's actually coming down like the ramp in wheelies, so she's kind of doing that whole like running down the steps, so she's gliding all the way down there.
I think if she becomes heel, it's just going to have to be. It's going to have to follow along the same lines of what she's doing now. Where she can't do like the Darth Emma turn.
No, she has to be like the annoying little sister. The annoying little sister. Like, look at me! You know, like,
yeah.
It's like, hey, Emma, like, Emma. What? I made you look. Oh, that would be great. She was in the annoying little sister, bratty little sister heel. That'd be great. Especially since we saw a spot in like, what is it, Survivor Series, where she was like stomping the crap out of a woman, and like I forgot who she was stomping the crap out of. But that would be such a great heel bratty thing to do. Just like, she could. I'm telling you. Mark my words.
I was really hoping that she would have a better run as the character she is now before she made that big turn. But the way it's going now, just like got to get it.
Pull the drag chute, reverse direction, reverse polarity. Mark my words. Bratty little sister heel Bayley will happen before the end of the year. Are you back on my words?
Yeah, you're gonna have to like eat something really hot or.
Oh no, I'll have to eat something hot if it doesn't happen. Oh please, anything like that. Don't throw me into the briar patch. Till next time.